Hi. Do you like the meeting so far? Okay, I like it too. Thanks to the organizers. Yeah, that's not something that I'm gonna do today. I'm not going to be talking about bioinformatics, but more about science in general. And I would like to touch some problems and maybe give you some answers, hopefully some solutions. So, but I'd like to, first of all, I'd like to ask you some questions. So, how many people do we have doing something with science? I guess it's a lot, but if you could raise your hands, yeah. Okay. I guess you read a lot of literature too, right? Who thinks? Oh, I forgot to ask. Who has this rule that whenever the question is asked, they don't raise their hand? This is important because there's going to be a couple more questions. Okay, so do you think you read a lot literature? Come on. Okay, it's really hard to find the right literature because if you want to do quality research, you need some quality basis. So, who wants to read only good literature, like avoid irreproducible papers, erroneous papers, fraud papers? I guess nobody wants to read them, right? So take your phones and scan the code because today you can begin. Okay, so all you need to do is go to the website, paste the DOI, click submit, and there you have it. There is a quality report on the paper, and something's wrong with it. You can see it right here, and you can decide not to read it. Simple, right? Isn't it brilliant? Who thinks it's brilliant? Okay. Some people think it's brilliant, but I'm sorry, it's not really, because I just lied to you. Maybe not lied, but manipulated a bit. Because we are in an early stage, and creating a tool that automates quality control of research papers is not straightforward. It's complicated. Everyone who has ever done a peer review knows that it takes a long time to evaluate a research paper. And it's often sophisticated, it requires expert knowledge, and algorithms cannot do that, at least yet. Maybe in some short time we will have some really smart algorithms that can do that, but for now, not. And I'm sorry again that I lied to you, but I just wanted to show you how easy you are to manipulate. And don't worry, we are all easy to manipulate. If something looks nice and legit, we often don't give it too much thought and we take it for granted. And these faces here, they are not real, they are created by AI, so that's one more one more trick. Okay, so I guess we are all scientists, we consider ourselves scientists, so we should be natural skeptics. But let's be honest, we don't often have much time and energy for that. We are drowning in grand applications, in bureaucracy, but I don't want to deviate too much, and I don't want to make enemies too, so let's move on. And I'd like to tell you a story. And maybe some of you have already heard it, but I'm sure not everybody has. And besides, I'd like you to take a look at the ridiculous numbers that I'm about to present. So in 2006, this one of the most significant and influential papers on Alzheimer's was published. It's been cited around 1,500 times. It paved the path for over 20 clinical trials. And these clinical trials, they cost around $42 billion with a B. Not a single trial passed the third phase, and today we know why. You see, last year this paper was retracted because it turned out to contain manipulated images and draw conclusions from these images. So 18 years. It went undetected for 18 years. Looks like we wasted this 42 billion and caused significant delays in the field out of negligence. Yeah, so I already showed you our solution, and I already said that it's not perfect. You should definitely not take the results for granted, but I encourage you to use it anyway and support our growth because we have some big plans. So now it works mainly on citation graphs, and it's not really sophisticated. The MVP was done in like 1 month, so it's simple, but we hope to create something like this AI peer reviewer, so we can automate fact-checking in scientific papers. And this, actually, we think it can be done. There are already preprints appearing where people are doing it, and they are reaching 70% hit rate with LLMs that are not fine-tuned. So we believe that if we gather enough high-quality data, we can actually fine-tune these LLMs and maybe increase these results by 10 to 20%. And there are already functioning models like this. Nature has Geppetto and Snapshot, but the functionalities are limited. So Geppetto mainly detects tortured phrases, so the phrases that appear in AI-generated text. And this can be, I don't know, if you have, for example, CO2 emission, it can be CO2 leakage, because it's AI understands this as a synonym, but it's really not the correct term, right? And Snapshot is great, but its main focus is on gels and blood. So it's focused on biology, but the functionalities here are again limited. Again, a word of caution. These are just algorithms. We should decide whether to read something or not. Obviously, we can automate things. We can see red flags, but ultimately, we are the ones who decide what we are doing. So we help you to choose what is worth reading and what is not worth reading, but we don't present ground truth about papers. We indicate potential problems, but we don't catch scientists red-handed, because sometimes something can just go wrong, and it can look like fraud, but it may not be. We have some competition, I'm not gonna lie, but as you can see, they are not heavy on features. They are mainly limited to what our MVP is doing here now, but we hope to compare to them like this. Obviously, this is not the case right now, but yeah, we hope to reach the point where it looks like this. Maybe with your help. Maybe if you are willing to use it, test it, help us grow, maybe we can reach this goal. Maybe some of you can ask why we are doing it in business. So huge amounts of data are needed for this. This needs to be curated, this needs to be expert evaluated, and people need to get paid for this, because we have seen times and times again that volunteer work doesn't work. Peer review, if it's free, it's often overlooked. Scientists don't give it too much thought, and that's the reason why we have so many retractions right now. So we estimate that we should pay about $20 to $40 per paper per reviewer. So evaluating 2,000 papers will cost us about $2 to $4 million. Yeah, that's quite a sum. So a couple more reasons. Academia is too slow, and it's due to the funding mechanism. You know, we all write grant applications, we all are waiting, we are all ditching through the bureaucracy. It's just too slow. It has too much inertia. And the same goes for big companies. Big companies are also too slow because of the hierarchy that governs them. We believe that it has to be a startup because it's agile, it can pivot, and it can answer the needs of scientists really quickly. So yeah, this is the team. We are all here actually here today. You can talk to us if you are interested, if you want to collaborate, if you want to ask us some questions, whatever. Actually, if you want to give us advice, yeah, we would highly appreciate this. And I want to flex a bit because yesterday we just got a message that we got into mentorship program in Lublin from OIC Foundation, and it's something similar to KMS, so we are really proud of this, and we hope to push the idea forward and make something good out of it. Yeah, so again, you can try PaperQC today, and if I didn't encourage you enough, maybe you have some questions. Yeah, we can talk later, definitely. But if you have some questions now, I'm happy to answer.
Well, I was too active to ask a question because this topic really excites me, and well, because I'm a former scientist and kind of also involved in even building models from literature data. So I think that's really, really cool what you are doing, but will play a little bit like an advocate of the devil, like to show a little bit of skepticism, as all the scientists do. So as far as I understood, you are trying to catch the errors which are the most obvious, so-called like the fake images, fake maybe even methodology, but the main problem, I think, in the science literature, and I saw like this famous Nature article from back in the 15 years ago, like the irreproducibility of the results, like, and especially in my field, biology and chemistry, they estimated like around 50% of the articles the scientists couldn't reproduce. And they looked like good articles. I mean, like there was no methodology flows, like obvious. There was no fake images or fake data, but still it was not relevant. Like if you train a model based on that, you will get garbage in, garbage out. So I think that part, and for me, like if I think how to evaluate this data, I only can try to reproduce the experiment. And that would be extremely expensive, and no one does it on like a large scale. So can you comment like whether it's possible to tackle this part, like reproducibility? And because I think these really fake articles are really only smaller part of irreproducible data.
Yes, thank you for your question. Definitely. The fraud, the really erroneous literature is just a pinnacle. And irreproducibility is a huge problem. What we can do is, without conducting experiments, what we can do is check the protocols, check the code, maybe check the data, if it's high quality, if it was randomly generated. We have some ideas how to do this. We can look and
yes, sorry, and also the data sets. Do we have a lot of like examples of curated data, what are fake and what are good articles or not?
Yes. One thing that we propose, the images, the obvious errors, we want to address them later, but first of all, we'd like to see if LLMs can catch, for example, logical fallacies or some inconsistencies in the protocols. You know, so but for this we need at least a couple of hundred, a couple of thousand examples. So, but as you see here, they already can do that with 70% hit rate. So it's not bad, but it's not great. Let's be honest. Yeah. So I think to avoid conducting experiments, we just have to be really meticulous about the description of what the experiment does or how it was conducted.
I won't ask the question, but I will add something from myself. So this tool, the aim of this tool is not to fix the whole science, because you cannot do that with one tool. We want to start with something we want to start with something new, something useful, and we want to start to talk about the science quality in general. First of all in Poland, and then maybe it will spread, because all of us know that the science quality is like pretty bad right now, and we need some.
Maybe
it may be. Sorry.
Don't use such strong
okay,
words.
Okay. But there are problems in science, and I think we all acknowledge that. And we want to start with something that may be useful, but again, this one tool won't fix all of the problems. We want to start the discussion. We want to give some useful tool that will be useful, but...
Yeah, but still just a tool.
Yeah, just
But speaking of it, I have a personal vendetta of a question, because I just checked it, and I checked it on my paper, and it gave it a really bad score.
Yeah, the score is...
Does this mean that I'm a bad scientist, that
No,
I'm part of
no,
the problem,
not at
part
all.
of the solution? Or?
Not at all. The score is experimental.
Okay.
Yeah. to say the least. Yeah, you shouldn't look at the score. But okay, I have because if you go to the website and sign up, you don't have a premium account. But don't worry, because if you just register today, we will give you free premium accounts for 1 year, because we want beta users. Yeah, so if you want to use it, if you want to check on the go how we grow, how we develop the tool, you can just register today, and you will have access for the next year. So there's that. But you shouldn't look at the score, at least yet. There are a bunch of limitations. I mean, I wouldn't dare to list the limitations, because the list is huge. Yeah, but that's what I want to communicate to you. That's why I'm here, to remind you that we should be skeptical, that we should always look deeper.
Can I have a question and a tip?
Where are you?
It's
I'm
me.
sorry. Okay, yeah.
So my question is, have you thought of your business model? Who's going to be your client? So that's a question that you can answer in a moment. And then a tip is, if you think the scientists will be your clients, then I would mind the words. Because when you say, science is bad quality and that we don't do good job as reviewers, that's might not work, right? Because as a scientist and a person who does reviews, I don't relate to that much. But a tip is that maybe you could focus not on, maybe your pitch should not be that we're doing bad job. Maybe your pitch should be, let's take away from us the parts that we don't do, right? Yeah. So instead of adding the third reviewer or fourth, right? Normally there are 3. So adding a 4th reviewer might not be, that much, might not make that much difference. But if you do things that reviewers normally don't do, so as a reviewer, I normally don't review the code deposited on GitHub. As a reviewer, I indeed don't look into the data if it's manipulated or not. So I do read papers, right? I do check if the logic is right, if the methods are right, but I believe on the code and the data. And I think most of the people do that. So maybe you could focus, target your stuff mostly to things, specific things, right? Like I would focus, if I was you, on for example, running the code from GitHub. Maybe that's like a simple thing you can do that most of reviewers don't.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great tip. Thank you. But I also have to say that I don't think you are doing a bad job. I just think that what you can see from the data.
I don't take it personally, but you know, when you
Yeah. Yeah, but when you look at the data, unfortunately, we see more and more retraction rates. So it means two things. First of all, bad papers go through the peer review process. This is one thing. But the second thing is that post-publication, we can detect more and more fraudulent and erroneous papers. So that's a good thing. More data, yeah.
So I also have a question. Are you thinking of targeting with this tool not only academic potential customers, but also business ones? And if so, what would be your pitch to the business to convince them to invest in making their scientists' life a little bit easier? How would you present the value of it to them?
So the value is that you all save time and money that you would otherwise spend on conducting, on checking bad papers, bad protocols, bad code. You all save time and money on that. And the companies, they also benefit from that because they spend tons and tons of money, especially in biomedical field. I've had a slide. I'm not sure if I said it, but 80% of all research funds are being wasted. At least it was the case in 2009. Now, I would say maybe it's on the same level or even worse.
So I think it's a very good idea to start with like general overview of the statistics. But if you start to talk to prospective customers, I think it's a good idea to address their problems specifically, because not everybody will see this problem for themselves. Not everybody will face that, because that depends on what kind of projects the company is working on. They might just be much less impacted. And I would suggest to maybe partner up with someone that you already know has this kind of problem, that they wasted a lot of money already, just to learn that this is because of the papers that were not really good basis for their developments, and try to prepare case study with those people. To show that it has an application in the business. It's not just a fancy tool for scientists.
Yeah, thank you. But it's hard to measure.
One more question, I see.
Wow, I didn't expect that. Thank you.
So I wanted to ask you more about your vision of the future, because I suppose what we're looking at, and people like Sam Altman or Demis Hassabis, they're quite openly talking about this, that we're going to have more AI in doing research. And what we're already witnessing is that LLMs are writing papers, and then LLMs will pick the papers that we should read. So my kind of doubt, and then hence my question about your vision of the future, is that, well, then why bother? Like, if the papers are being written by AI and then they're being kind of quality controlled by AI again, then why am I needed, and why even bother to go into all of this hassle?
So you should definitely write your papers, because what we are seeing right now here, this peak, it all happened after AI. So yeah, that's why we are entering the field, because so many people focus on using AI to create research papers, to automate creation, and it just makes too much errors. And we want to counter that, and we want to automate the process of checking.
So your AI is going to be fixing another AI. Why would I then put your AI at the end of the pipeline and not at the beginning of the pipeline before I submit the paper?
I think
Or like sell it to Springer Nature and have them run PaperQC before they make a decision whether they should go out for review. Again, kind of, I'm I guess representing the camp of let's explore different scenarios of like how this can go down, looking into the future.
Yeah, definitely. We don't think that individual scientists are our target audience, but more institutions and companies. So, but I'm talking to you today, to hear this kind of remarks and this kind of tips, because it's really helpful to develop our strategy later on. So it's great that you have doubts. You should have doubts. Yeah, that's exactly why we are doing the tool. So I don't think you should blindly trust our tool. No, that's what I was trying to say throughout the presentation, that you should always check, evaluate for yourself. But some simple algorithms can automate stuff for you. For example, right now it checks if the paper that you are checking cites some retracted papers or some self-citations. Self-citations are not always bad, but if the percentage exceeds certain threshold, something is off, So yeah, simple things like that can help you, can just save your time, and I think that's my answer.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you, Filip, for your presentation.